Walt Disney Studios has again delayed the Marvel Cinematic reboot of Blade. This time, they have completely removed it from their production slate schedule.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob Airy. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. No MCU production has experienced so many delays as the Blade reboot. As children of the 90s remember, Wesley Snipes was our Blade. He was the second rated R superhero film after Spawn, but the first Marvel film to be rated R, way ahead of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or as we call it, the MCU, being the main Marvel franchise or even the X-Men franchise. And of course, we got to see Wesley Snipes reprise his role as the vampire hunter Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine, where he was trapped in the world where they send all the misbehaving variants and whatnot. That was pretty cool because I actually liked the first two Blade films. I didn't care for Blade Trinity, which is the third, ironically, which also stars Ryan Reynolds, who of course played Deadpool. Apparently, Blade Trinity was plagued with production problems, mainly because Wesley Snipes didn't like the director, so he refused to even speak to him. He would always respond in post-it notes, according to co-star Patton Oswalt, who, why would you put Patton Oswalt in a Blade movie anyway? But that's neither here nor there. Also, I've seen the movie. You can read my review on StudioJakeMedia.com. It just was a disaster, and it probably made it where it would be delayed for a while. Whatever the case may be, when Marvel got the rights to Blade back, they decided that, now under Disney, that they would make a rated R MCU film, because that hasn't happened yet at the time when the planning started. And of course, Deadpool and Wolverine became that for them. They originally casted Maharishi Ali, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please let me know in the comments. I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Ali if I'm mispronouncing his first name. I'm just very ignorant, apparently. But anyway, Mr. Ali was cast, and I actually thought the casting was interesting because before, the MCU had this rule where they don't double cast. They can recast, but they don't double cast. And Mr. Ali had played Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series on Netflix, but then they're announcing him as Blade. And so that was a little confusing. Now, when Bob Chapek became the CEO of Disney, he said that all the TV shows pre-Disney Plus were non-canon. And so that included Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, and of course The Defenders. So that's 6 TV shows completely eliminated. He said they were just part of the multiverse, as they introduced it into Loki. However, when Bob Chapek left and Bob Iger returned, he kind of reversed that and said, no, they are canon. It's just because of everything that's going on with the multiverse. Some of the timeline is a little messed up. The same went for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way. Now, Blade has been in turmoil because apparently Mr. Ali has clashed with several of the directors as well as the writers, and they have also been clashing with Disney because at the time, Victoria Alejandro was the vice president of Marvel, and she was one of the driving forces behind introducing a lot of the woke content into the MCU. As a result of that, they wanted to do a Blade movie that was going to be a bait and switch, where Blade's daughter would become the new Blade and she would be the Blade going forward. Apparently, Mr. Ali was against this. Now, remember, that's just a rumor. That's what I've just heard from the back channels or the back rooms, whatever you would prefer. This has caused many delays. Many directors have quit. Many of the writers have quit. They don't really have a script. They have a concept of a script and even like a referral script, basically. But because of all the rewrites with a lot of different directors and writers, it keeps causing delays. And now it has been delayed indefinitely. So this is according to the Express Tribune. In a move that surprises few, Marvel Studios has postponed the release of Blade, originally scheduled for November 7th, 2025, with Disney now slotting Predator Badlands from 20th Century Studios for that date. The reboot of Blade stars two-time Oscar winner Mr. Ali, has faced numerous delays due to the global pandemic and industry strikes. Production setbacks also include the departure of 2 directors, first Bassam Tariq in 2022, followed by Jan Demange. Blade will feature Mia Goth as the villain Lilith, Commenting on the delays, Goth recently told Deadline, Marvel really cares. They want to make a great movie. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige is committed to delivering the best Blade movie, emphasizing the need for a strong script before resuming production. Meanwhile, Wesley Snipes, who starred in the original Blade trilogy, recently made a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, which became the highest grossing rated R film of all time, with 1.3 billion globally. Blade is recognized as one of the first rated R superhero films, with the 1998 original and its sequel grossing 418.1 million worldwide, while Marvel fans await the Blade reboot. Predator Badlands, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, will hit theaters in November 2025, starring Elle Fanning. This return to theaters marks Disney's renewed focus on the big screen, following criticism that Prey, the previous Predator installment, was released directly on Hulu. All right, so there you have it. It's delayed indefinitely. And a few people have said this movie should be canceled. I believe that if the bait and switch script is still on the table, yes, that one should be canceled. But I actually wouldn't mind seeing another Blade film. Like I said, I like the first two. My thing is just bring back Wesley Snipes. If you really want to make it easier for people to accept that he's passing on the mantle, kind of like Captain America did with Falcon, which you all know how I felt about that. I explained in several videos how I feel about that. But if you really wanted to make it easier for Marvel to say, hey, we're going to pass this on to another version of Blade or his daughter or whatever. I didn't even know he had a daughter. I'm not up on all the recent comic books. I mainly read old stuff now just because the new stuff has been terrible. Even great writers like Jason Aaron has really, really gone downhill. And you can see that in the fact that Marvel Studios just refuses to put Peter Parker back with Mary Jane. She's now married to a man who suspiciously looks like the writer Zeb Wells. Could that be a little self insert there? Who knows? Point is, Blade needs to be his own hero. They need to either introduce a younger Blade into the MCU and let him be Blade, or they need to bring back Wesley Snipes, let him be Blade, say for a Blade film, maybe a miniseries on Disney Plus, have him appear in one of the Avengers films, and then they need to then pass on the mantle. It would make more sense. It would be more accepting to the fans. But Disney, at least current year, they still seem to not like their fans. They continue to let their stars mock us and deride us. It's very insulting. Either way, is it a good thing or a bad thing that it got delayed? That's the main question here. I think it's a good thing. I think that it should be completely taken off the table if it's a bait and switch film. But if it's not, if it's actually a decent film, I would like to see a Blade movie, but with Wesley Snipes. I'm glad that he appeared in Deadpool and Wolverine, and I hope that somehow they bring it all together for a fantastic conclusion to the Blade mythos. That being said, I don't trust Kevin Feige anymore. He's been at Marvel way too long, and he lets people under him boss him around way too much. Now, Overlord DVD has reported that basically Kevin Feige had a meeting with all the Marvel Studios execs, because of course he's the head of Marvel Studios, and he basically said, listen, we are going to change directions. Deadpool and Wolverine has taught us that we're going to kind of finish out the slate that we have, but then we're going to refocus and reevaluate. And this was also brought on because of the whole Kang dynasty. I mean, you had the guy who was supposed to be the new big bad of the MCU. You had the main actor caught in all these criminal activities that he was accused of, some, worse than others, and they decided to reevaluate that. They brought back the Russo brothers, they brought back Robert Downey Jr., but this time as Doctor Doom. Although I have heard rumors, and I had a video discussing this, that it's actually Viggo Mortensen who's Doctor Doom, and that Robert Downey Jr. is portraying a Tony Stark from a different dimension, pretending to be Doctor Doom. So who knows there? It's all spaghetti now. Whatever the case may be, they are refocusing. Kevin Feige basically told all the woke people, your way didn't work. We're not making any money. We've been widely rejected by the fans, so we're going to course correct. And I hope that is the case. Now, a lot of the movies that would still have woke messaging or identity politics embedded in them, they're still going to come out because movies are planned 5 years in advance. I worked on a documentary miniseries one time that was for a streaming service. They had planned this documentary at least 2 years in advance. And I joined the company sort of when the gears were grinding about it. So it was in pre-production whenever I came on board. It was in production when I was doing the marketing for it. And then, of course, I got to see it go live. It is very complicated for that. So imagine what a film was like. Whatever the case may be, I do hope that we get to see a Blade reboot at some point because I do think the character is pretty cool. I would even love to see him as an Avenger. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you don't want to support me on big tech, click on the link to my locals community. It's in the description of the video. You can send me tips on the articles that I have written there, including the exclusives. You can also sign up for a monthly membership. You can also pick up one of my novels at Amazon.com. Leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.